In this video, I'm gonna explode about a mechanic trying to rip me off and scam me. What's up guys, welcome back to another video on Pure panoRAMa, and I am not the happiest guy right now, and I'll tell you why. So a couple videos ago or whatever, when I just did the two U-joints on the rear portion of my drive shaft, I mentioned in that video about how I took my truck down to the shop on Friday, April 13th. Well, while the truck was there, I sent it down there with those U-joints and a carrier bearing because I knew that the U-joints needed to be done, and if you're gonna have the drive shaft out, you might as well do the carrier bearing too, because eventually that's gonna need to be done also. It doesn't really need to be done right now, but it's gonna have to be. So if it's out, you might as well put the thing on and get it done and over with so you don't have to worry about it down the road. Well, the mechanic down there proceeded to tell me that the U-joints were fine on the truck and nothing needed to be done with those, and that he did not want to take my money and do a job that didn't need to be done. So when I had my truck down to the shop on Friday the 13th and told the guy, as long as you have my truck here, throw these last two U-joints in and change the carrier bearing for me, and he said, oh, you don't need that, they're good, why, I don't want to waste your money and stuff, but then said, but you do need to do ball joints and $1,700 worth of other work. He was full of shit. No, I'm not saying that I didn't have to do anything with the tie rods, because they definitely needed to be switched with the sway bar end links, and I know that those driver's side ball joints were starting to go bad, but I don't think they're as bad as he said they are. But we are gonna take care of them here pretty soon. As you know, I already have the parts. Basically, what he did by saying that, or what he attempted to do anyways, was to try and make me feel good about his actions and about him, and that I could feel confident in him and his judgment so that he could try to sell me on a bigger job and get a bigger payday out of me. So he told me that those things did not need to be done and that he didn't want to take my money, but then proceeded to tell me that I needed to do upper and lower ball joints, tie rods, brakes, and there was something else on the list, I think, and that the total was going to be $1,700 after everything was all said and done. But what he fails to know and didn't know is that I am smart enough to know better, and I know how long certain jobs on vehicles should take, especially with a guy who has a lift, all the tools in the world at his disposal, and years of experience. If I'm charging $70 an hour and I do tie rods in my driveway and it takes me, say, an hour and a half to do it, so you got $105 in labor, and then parts, depending on where you get them from, could be anywhere from like $200 to $300. So that's about 400 bucks. Well, he tried to quote me just shy of $700 to do the tie rods alone. Now, if a guy like me can do it right in his driveway in that amount of time with very little tools in his possession, then there's no reason that a guy like him down at the shop can't get it done in a much lesser time with all the tools that he has and the experience. He's probably done hundreds of tie rods on trucks before. So I don't know where he got off thinking that I was just gonna buy into his shit and think that it was, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem, man, I'll go ahead, fix it, and I'll bring the money right down to you. I'll pay you before you do the work. No, buddy, that ain't how it works, and apparently you just don't think. You don't have a brain, mister. What he should have done was go ahead and replace the U-joints and rotate the tires like I asked him to do. He did rotate the tires, but he should have replaced the U-joints and the carrier bearing, because he actually would have got a decent payday then. It probably would have cost me a couple $100 at least to get the U-joints done, and he should have done them because he knew that they needed to be done. If he can't tell that a U-joint is bad and he's got so many years of experience, then he must be in the wrong profession, and he shouldn't be touching other people's vehicles for a living. So he knew that they were bad, but tried to not do that and get a little payday so that he could upsell a job and get a bigger payday, and that just doesn't sit well with me. So if he was smart, he would have did everything that I asked him to do, collected that payday, and then recommended to me, hey, I did notice that this, and this was wrong, and we got to take care of it, and it's going to cost this much, and then worked with me on figuring out when I would want to do that work. That's what would have made me feel better about him and more confident in him and his skills and his way of diagnosing stuff, and made me want to have him do stuff with my truck. Now, the way that he approached it and went about it, I will never ever trust him again. I will never take my truck to him again, and it just goes to show that mechanics Not all of them. There are good mechanics out there, but typically they're going to be a mechanic that you or your family have been friends with for a long time and have been close to you and your family, or somebody else that you know for that matter. It's not just going to be a mechanic that you just walk in off the street to and say, hey man, I need to get this fixed on my car. They're probably going to try to take advantage of you. And it's sad because a lot of mechanics in shops in our world today are like that, and they try to take advantage of hardworking people and take their money, and it's horrible because people need their vehicles and they know that, and they know that a lot of people can't fix their stuff, so that that person is going to pay what they basically say needs to be paid in order for their vehicle to get fixed. And that really sucks because people obviously need their vehicles to get to and from work and to their kids' school functions, their kids' sports and all that, and these mechanics know that, and just they take advantage of way too many people who work hard for their money. And some people don't have that. They have to borrow from other people or scrounge around or spend all their savings to get their vehicle fixed just so they can keep going to work and keep generating a paycheck. And that's terrible. That's a terrible way for mechanics to be, and it really goes to show how our world has taken a turn for the worst basically, and people are just out to almost get one another and take advantage of one another. It's very hard to come across a good, honest, hardworking person nowadays who will be straightforward with you and just kind of tell you how it is. So that's why I'm almost suggesting to you, if you have to take your vehicle to a mechanic, be straightforward and upfront with them, and let them know that you do know better and you know enough about things to know that if they're going to try and tell you that something's wrong, you know how long it should probably take them to fix it, about roughly how much the parts are going to cost, and you're not going to be taken advantage of. So be straightforward with me and I'll be straightforward with you, and we can do business together. I think that that's almost how things have to be handled when you walk through the door of a new shop and you're trying to, I guess, build a relationship with them. And I've had experiences in the past where guys have just gone and repaired something on my vehicle without my knowledge and basically told me afterwards and gave me a bill for it. And what was I to do at that point in time? I needed to get my vehicle back, and was I going to tell them to go and take those parts off or whatever? I argued with them a little bit or whatever, but you know what, at the end of the day I ended up paying it, and it's not worth going to small claims court over and paying for a lawyer or anything. So you just have to be careful, because a lot of mechanics out there are scam artists, they're crooked, and they'll try to just steal your money. But why I'm really going over this now especially is because I was just cleaning up the truck, as you know, to do the little video about debadging, so I could show you guys how I do it and what I use when I do take badges off of vehicles. And I was working, while I was cleaning up the truck here, I was working on trying to get brake dust off of the wheels, and let me just show you what I found. So when the truck was down at the shop, I had him rotate the tires. That's the one thing that he did do that I asked him to do. And as you can see right here on my center caps, they're all chewed up because his dumbass used an impact gun with the key for my lug nuts and chewed the hell out of my center caps. Now these are plastic, so this is a soft material. I don't know where he thinks using an impact that obviously he can't control is the smartest and best way of taking my lug nuts off. But what really has me pissed off, center caps, I can probably get new ones of those, but technically he should get me the new ones. But what really has me torqued right now and just over the top mad is the fact that he really can't control his impact gun, because I have a nice gouge right here in the rim from his impact in the socket to get my lug nuts off. Now I know 100% for a fact that this wasn't there before. There's no way that that gouge could get there from driving or anything, because it's way up in here, right in the crevice of the wheel. And I'll get in there a little closer. You can see it right here. It's definitely a little divot and scratch right up through there, and that is from his impact gun. And you can bet your ass that I'm going to be stopping down there at his shop and pointing that out and letting him know that that definitely was not there before I dropped the truck off, and I didn't notice it until this weekend when I was cleaning my wheels and trying to get the truck in shape for summertime, and I'm not too happy about it. So that just really sent me over the edge. I was a little mad before about the whole U-joint thing, especially when I pulled that one U-joint out the other day and saw how shitty it was with the needle bearings all crunched. The one cap didn't have any needle bearings left in it at all. So it just goes to show, if you want something done and you want it done right, you got to do it yourself type of deal. vehicle, or it just goes to show that a lot of garages and shops out there just can't be trusted, man. And I'll show you how bad this U-joint was that he said was perfectly fine. Do you see that right there? Look at those needle bearings, dry as can be. I've already packed the grease in this just last week, and clearly it was so messed up that the grease didn't even go into the cap. The needle bearings are split in half and riding around up there in the tip of the cap, and that's what was binding us up and locking. I would be willing to bet that our rear end noise that I was hearing was coming right from here. There's no needle bearings left in this. Completely gone, just ground to dust. That guy is an idiot. And my truck was still making a horrendous noise, which I sent it down there for him to diagnose and fix the issue by putting the U-joints in, and he never did that and tried to just steal more money out of my pocket with bigger jobs. So I was already heated and boiling over that, but now that I see the wheel, I'm super mad. But that's enough out of me. I hope you guys could take something from that, and if you are not confident enough to do work on your truck or your vehicle and you have to take it to a shop, just do your due diligence and your homework and make sure that that shop is reputable. Search for reviews and ratings on Google or wherever. Ask around town from people and try to get recommendations or family friends who are mechanics, because they'll be the best. And that's another big reason that I try to get these videos up on YouTube, and I'm trying to build this community here on Pure panoRAMa, because if I can do things on my truck, then I'm trying to let people know that you can do it on yours as well. And anything that I'm able to accomplish on mine, I hope that I can teach somebody or give them the motivation, the confidence, the courage to go and attempt it on their own vehicle, and maybe help save someone some money and some time and help them from not having to go through a situation like that. So that's why I try to do these videos on Pure panoRAMa, so that people can see me doing this stuff, the things that I'm able to do, and hopefully, you know, it'll help them get the confidence and courage to go and do it on their own with their own truck or own car or whatever, and not have to get screwed and scammed over by mechanics taking their stuff to a shop. So I hope that these videos are able to help people in one way or another. I can't obviously do everything. I'm not a mechanic, but there's plenty of stuff that I'm able to do. I'm not handicapped, I'm handy capable, and I hope that at the end of the day the videos are able to help somebody in one way or another, and just save you guys some money, because if I can do it, then you can do it. So that's enough out of me. Leave a like on this video on your way out, and subscribe if you're new, because we got plenty to come with my 24 valve Cummins. Still got to do upper and lower ball joints. I don't know, I've been listing it off in the last few videos, but there's plenty to do. So subscribe, you're not going to want to miss it. Peace. I just wanna